Thank you, soldier. My prepared text today was to have been, "Make thy name be remembered in all generations." But I think I'm going to depart from my prepared sermon. While I was listening to the sergeant's solo, I kept looking up at our service flag. I was thinking of the men in service. I see some of them here this morning. Private Roberts, Sergeant Jackson, Lieutenant Carter, and,
Private Parks, first class.
First class is right. I was over at the USO the other night, and I met somebody I hadn't seen in quite a long time. The last time I saw this man, well, one of my members treated me to a ticket to Yankee Stadium to see Joe Louis versus Max Smaley. In 1 minute and 49 seconds, an American fist won a victory. But it wasn't the final victory. No, that victory is going to take a little longer and a whole lot more American fists. Now, those two men that were matched in the ring that night are matched again. This time in a far greater arena and for much greater stakes. Max Smaley, a paratrooper in the Nazi army. Men turned into machines, challenging the world. Joe Louis, training for the fight of his life. This time it's a fight not between man and man, but between nation and nation. It's a fight for the real championship of the world, to determine which way of life shall survive, their way or our way. And this time, we must see to it that there is no return engagement. For the stakes this time are the greatest men have ever fought for. And what are the stakes? The American stakes. The German stakes, the Bible of the Nazis, the gospel according to Hitler. I'm not going to read all of this, but there are one or two things in this book that will interest you. I quote, "What is denied to us, the German fist must take. If our forefathers had made their decisions by the same pacifist nonsense as the present day does, we would possess but a third of our existing territory." Further, he says, "From time to time, the illustrated papers show how a Negro has become a lawyer, a teacher, perhaps even a minister. It never dawns on the degenerate middle-class America that this is truly a sin against all reason, that it is criminal madness to train a born half-ape until one believes one has made a lawyer of him." This book was written 20 years ago. The plan which it foreshadowed has become a reality. In America's Army, in every branch of the service, artillery, tank, quartermaster, engineer.
Don't forget the infantry.
Yes?
My boy's in the infantry. He's up there. Third from the left in the bottom row. I got a letter from him last night. He's an officer.
Robert? Did he get to be an officer?
Yes, he says so right here. "Dear Mama, at last it's happened. I'm an officer, Lieutenant Robert A. Bronson, infantry. Don't it sound good? Of course, I haven't got my bars yet, but I'm on my way to officers' candidate school for 4 months, and if I pass the examination and graduate and get my commission, I'll be an officer. Now, I can do it, Mama. If I could go through those first 13 weeks the way I did, I can go through anything. That morning at the railroad depot, I didn't know which side was up, but misery sure loves company. When I said goodbye to you, I was laughing, but I wasn't tickled. And the first thing I heard when I stopped at some place in the middle of no place,
All right, men, on behalf of the United States Army and the reception center here at this camp, we're glad to welcome you here today and into the United States Army. We're glad to see all of your happy, smiling faces. Now, fellas, during the few days that you'll be with us here at this camp, you'll be converted from a civilian into a full-fledged soldier. You'll be interviewed by someone who will inquire into your past life before you came into the Army.
You assisted a machinist on the construction of guns and gun parts? That's right. What machines did you operate?
I operated boring mills, tool grinders, drill presses, planes, and...
All in! Forward! Hut! 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 Pick it up! Pick it up! Company! Pull! Pull!
All right, men. Strip down completely. Put every piece of civilian clothing that you have into that barracks bag. Now, when you're completely stripped and have everything into that bag, put on a set of summer underwear, a pair of shorts, a pair of white woolen socks. All right, now you'll try on your green herringbone fatigue hat first. That's a green hat with a brim on it. Try it on. If it fits, place it into your barracks bag. Now, don't mind if it's a little loose.
but I made it. All of us made it. They put us through so many twists and turns, we didn't know whether we were coming or going. But Uncle Sam did. We were going. He put us on the train that same afternoon for the replacement center. We kept passing troop trains going back and forth all over the country. We finally arrived at a place called Military Secret. But this much I can tell you, it was cold. And even before we had a chance to thaw out, they had us in the school of the soldier. Then came the cross-country marching.
Hold! Take a 10-minute break.
It was tough. Hiking, drilling, KP, bivouacs, tent pitching, general orders. The tougher the day, the shorter the night. But you get used to it, and if you can't take it, they got doctors. Some of the best in the country, specialists in every field. And in our dental clinic, we have a whack. But even so, this is one kind of drilling no soldier likes. But after all the making beds and peeling potatoes and drilling and marching, they give you a rifle and teach you to shoot it. In no time at all, I could hit the broadside of a barn. It was fun. It's not all work. There's football, baseball, boxing, and oh yes, ping pong. If you want to read, there's a library. Can you imagine me listening to poetry? But it came in good. The very next day, I got a chance to use it. We were sent on a detail to a nearby camp. I saw some soldiering that was beautiful to behold.
Platoon, and up! Forward, march! Hut, two, three, four, hut, two, three, four, hut! Get up, go! Hut, two, three, four,
And you'd better tell Uncle Everett to quit joking about the wax. Because these girls have forgotten more about jeeps and trucks than he'll ever know, corporal or no corporal. And the next day was Saturday night. She was very nice, Mama. A real apple pie girl. Just the right size and everything. Just the kind you like. But in the Army, man proposes and GI disposes.
On!
And the next morning, I was out there like the rest of them, getting tough. In this man's army, they want you to be tough. But tough. And I mean tough. And tough in the army means a good fighter who can stand up against a strong enemy and beat him to the draw. And after a hard week, a soldier welcomes a Sunday.
This morning, I have a GI report I think you'll all be interested in. This is an official statement from the War Department. In the present World War, there are more than 5 times as many men with high school education in our armed forces than were in World War I. This has meant an increase in officer candidates. Official figures tell us in the present war, there are 3 times as many colored officers as in World War I.
To the enemy, our country is something to destroy. Our homes, our right to worship God, our little belongings, something to crush, to shackle, to plunder. Oh God, we thank you for this land which our fathers have helped to build. Grant that we may, with your help, be worthy of this heritage, and in our turn, enrich it for our children, so that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth.